Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Hi there. I am Elizabeth Moeller, and I'm going to share some information about a new personality assessment called ALiGN. Here with me today is my colleague, Lisa, and I'll let Lisa introduce herself.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank everyone for joining us. My name is Lisa Kelly, and I'm the Programs Manager with the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, and I work on the Discoverability Network program, which helps connect inclusive businesses to job seekers with a disability. Thanks for having me here today, Elizabeth.
You're welcome. So a little bit about what is ALiGN. Well, ALiGN is, first and foremost, a talent to role matching methodology that uses Lumina Learning's science-based psychometric assessment available in 7 languages to match job seekers to opportunities and opportunities to job seekers. It is an alternative approach to traditional recruitment, screening, and hiring practices. Job seekers receive a fit score upon completion of the assessment, which uses the personality attributes of individuals to match them to suitable roles based on fit. Lisa, do you want to talk about why it's so important to have this alternative approach to job finding and job matching?
Well, as you know, Elizabeth, we've both been job seekers at some point in our life, and almost everybody will. And it can be challenging, and we find jobs in different ways, but companies have set up traditional pathways that don't always work for people with disabilities. So sometimes we may have longer gaps in our resume. It may have taken us longer to complete our work experience. We may not have any experience in a new field that we're entering. Maybe we're a new graduate, we're able to do the job, but we have no experience in that. So a tool like ALiGN can help us fill some of those problematic areas in the job search process.
ALiGN is simple to use. You just need to enter through the designated landing page at https://magnettoday/ALiGN. Create a personality assessment, and then after you've taken that, return to your created account.
You say that it's a personality assessment. Is that a test, Elizabeth, or is it, how does that look?
Great question, Lisa. This is most definitely not a test. I'll explain a little bit more in detail in a few moments about the assessment, but the reality is there are no right or wrong answers. There's no time limit, and best of all, it's your unique portrait of your strengths, limitations, and areas for growth.
Great.
Let's talk a little bit more about how ALiGN works. First and foremost, benchmark. Employers identify the most desirable behavioral characteristics in targeted occupations, which are then matched to created candidate profiles. Assess. As a job seeker, you create an online account and complete a psychometric assessment to identify your personality traits and your work style preferences. Then you are matched by Magnet's innovative matching technology, which measures job seekers against all candidate profiles in our system. Hire. Employers receive candidates with the knowledge that they are well suited for the job. Lisa, do you have any comments on the benchmarking process or how ALiGN works?
Well, I think what impressed me when I actually did this, took the assessment, received things back, is you've got a lot of job families within those benchmark positions. So there's a great deal of variability. And of course, that means more opportunity for every type of person who's job seeking.
Great, and you can see here that we have quite a number of job families. Why don't we take a look at some of those job families? So we have social media and marketing coordinator, retail and sales associate, housekeeping and room attendant, finance officer, project manager, QA specialist, telecom sales representative, telecom field technician, data analyst, UX designer, and barista. These are just some of the job families available to our job seekers in system. So now let's explore the Lumina competency framework in a bit more detail. There are 8 major attributes which are listed below, and take a minute to explore these in greater detail once you've received your personality portrait. Lisa, do you want to read off these attributes?
Sure. So you can see they correspond with a color in the center wheel. It's people-focused, inspiration-driven, big picture thinking, extroverted, outcome-focused, discipline-driven, down-to-earth, and introverted. And then as you move out from the wheel, you'll see that there's further characteristics, and then again, even further from there. So there's a lot of different information being given to you under each of those different areas.
Now I'm going to show you a job seeker walkthrough demo. Very important. Sign up versus sign in. If you are a new user, so that is you've never used Magnet.today, you've never used Discoverability, or any of our affiliates, you are going to sign up with your email address and you're going to create a password. You'll then be prompted to confirm that account in the email account that you've signed up with. So you'll go into your email account and click a link that will be sent. If, on the other hand, you are an existing user, so you have used Discoverability or one of our other Magnet platforms, you are able to go to sign in. So you're going to input the email you've used to sign in previously and your password. Not to worry, if for any reason you forget your password, you can simply click Forget Password and a reset link will be sent to your email address. So at this point, then you would be able to take the assessment.
I love, Elizabeth, that you've pointed out the difference between signing up, signing in, or logging in, because I think a lot of people can be confused on the difference.
Absolutely. From there, you're going to follow the prompts. You're going to choose language, and you'll see that from the list below. There's quite an extensive list. Lisa can read that through for us here.
Sure. So there's English, both UK versions and Canadian versions, Korean, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese Simplified, Chinese Traditional, and French Canadian.
Great. So once you've done that, you'll be prompted then to continue to the assessment. You can see here that we have a sample question. I generally see myself as pretty organized, with a 5-point scale ranging from strongly agree to strongly disagree. You should note a couple of things here. First and foremost, like I said earlier, there's no right answer. Just go with what you initially feel for each question. I know it can be difficult depending on your situation in the day, but just go with what suits best. The other really great thing is if you do feel later on in the assessment like you want to go back, there is a back button. You can navigate back and change any answers you want. There's no time limit on this assessment. If you feel like you need to take a stretch, take a break, you can come back to it at any point. It is 144 questions, so at some point you may want to stand up and take a break. I'll show you another sample question. I really enjoy working collaboratively with others. And again, that 5-point scale applies. So those are just a couple sample questions. Then you're going to review your answers. And after reviewing your answers, as I said, you can go back if you need to change. Then you will submit, and you'll hit that submit button.
Seems like a pretty simple process, Elizabeth.
Yes, yeah, it's not too difficult. What's great about this is once you've submitted, it does take about 15 minutes for your portrait to be generated or created. And the reason for that is it's customized to your answers. So this is a really great time while that portrait is being developed to take that time to fill out the rest of your magnet profile. I stress this because the more robust your profile on our magnet system is, the better your matches are going to be. So the ALiGN portrait will allow you to have access to some really great fit-based postings, but if you complete the rest of your profile, you're going to have wider access. And that's really important for those of us job searching.
So I want to at this point ask the question is, what's the difference between magnet, align, and discoverability, Elizabeth?
Great question. I like to think of magnet as a big solar system. Within that big solar system, we have smaller planets per se. So discoverability and align are systems within our big magnet universe. So think of magnet as a website that houses a lot of different other sites that you can go into to get connected to jobs. Discoverability is one, magnet proper, align. So magnet is the big system that houses all of those. It is easy to get confused for sure.
Well, it's not so much confusing, it's just knowing also, I think, that you can move between the systems with the same username and the same password. So if you have a
Absolutely.
disability, you can go onto the discoverability site using your magnet name and username and your magnet password, and the same with align.
Yeah. Then you're going to return to the magnet homepage, and you're going to locate your portrait once it's generated under the settings tab under personality profile. Or you can check the email address that you signed up with. Your portrait link will be emailed to you at that email address. So either or. And again, you can find the settings tab at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. For those who use visuals, for those who use a screen reader, it is a link on your links list. So now why don't we take a look at your unique portrait and see your true colors in order. Here you will see your strengths, areas for development, and your spark mandala. Do you want to describe this to us, Lisa?
Sure, it's a really great report because not only is it clear and easily understood language that gives you a lot of details and I think kind of a positive take on both your strengths and areas for improvement, but it also gives you some great visuals if you're more of a visual learner. So you can see here we have the front page, but you receive in the report your true colors in order, a page dedicated to your strengths and potential weaknesses, the Spark Mandala, which we're going to look at in greater detail in a moment, and a final report page. But there's a lot of great information in there. I did it myself, and it just gave me a lot of information to go back to help me reconstruct my answers to my interview questions, as well as a few areas to refocus on in my resume.
Great, so as Lisa mentioned, we have something called the Spark Mandala. So why don't we check out our splashes, our 8 unique aspects. You're going to refer to page 6 of your Spark Mandala portrait. And your Spark Mandala really is your colors in order. Do you want to describe that a little bit, Lisa?
Sure, so if we look at this image here, we can see that somebody has a lot of strengths, long and wide, which would be on the down to earth section. So they scored a 99%. But if we look opposite that, we see a short and very thin on big picture thinking. So somebody in this might be a little bit more concrete and be very task oriented. And actually we see that outcome focused over here on the right hand side where we have a long and nearly wide section, 98% on outcome focused. So it can really give you a sense about what kind of strengths you bring to the job, possibly areas that you can also work on to improve. But really when we go into an interview, we want to be talking about our strengths, and this gives us a beautiful visual picture that we, in this particular individual, they're people focused, down to earth, and outcome focused. And those would be the 3 things I would speak about, give examples of when I went into an interview that I would highlight on my resume and obviously highlight on my profile on Magnet and discoverability.
Great, so once you've completed your assessment and your Magnet profile, you will start to receive job invitations. I want to note here that one of the really great things about Magnet's technology is the opportunity to self-ID. So what this means is you'll have the opportunity, and it's under your settings tab, to identify as a member of an equity seeking group. So myself, I might click, I am a member of the disability community. And I would just click save and continue. Now, I should stress here that this is opt-in, not opt-out. So employers who value top talent, untapped potential, and who want diversity and a unique perspective in their workforce may post roles that say, I would like to have a must-have candidate with a disability apply to my summer position at a bank, for example. Really, this is a great way for employers to be matched with top talent and for you to be reassured that you're working in a place that values that talent. Did you have anything to add to that, Lisa?
No, I think that the more robust that you fill out, the more information you put there, you're going to see better returns. I know in my own personal experience, that's what happened the first year or so. I didn't even fill in my opportunity preferences that I used the system. But in the last year, I've done a much more in-depth job of going through each of these sections. I've uploaded multiple resumes. I've done links to blogs that I have. I've put in my preferences, my certifications. That includes even things like your driver's license. And I've been getting far more hits and far more job opportunities. So I really encourage people to spend time to complete that and just keep adding it to it. It's like your lifelong resume in a sense.
Absolutely. And remember, if you want to talk this over with an employment counselor, you can go back and complete this self-ID declaration at any time.
Yeah, that's very true. And you can also take in your report to a counselor, I think, Elizabeth, that
Absolutely.
might be a lot of great discussion.
Yeah, it makes for a great discussion if you're working with an employment counselor to be able to pinpoint, oh, I'm a person that's really abstract thinking, big ideas. Perhaps we want to look for jobs that have those types of qualities in the postings. It's also a really wonderful thing to be able to integrate some of those qualities into a cover letter or an interview, or help tell your story as a unique candidate. That's really important, and we'll talk about that in our upcoming next video. But for now, I'll say, please don't forget to follow us on Twitter @Magnet Today or check us out on Facebook. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.